Today, we are diving deep into one of the most powerful books on success ever written, Napoleon Hill's absolute classic, Think and Grow Rich. This isn't just a book, it's a blueprint. So let me just start with a question for you. What if the biggest secret to getting rich, to achieving anything you want, wasn't about grinding harder, but about thinking differently? What if it all starts right here, in your mind? Well, way back in 1937, right in the middle of the Great Depression, a book came out that made exactly that claim. The author, Napoleon Hill, had spent over 20 years studying the most successful people of his time, think Andrew Carnegie, to figure out their money-making secrets and boil them down into one philosophy for everyone. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, we have to get one thing straight. When Hill talks about being rich, he's not just talking about money. It's so much bigger than that. See, these principles are meant to help you build a truly rich life. Yeah, financial freedom is a huge part of it for sure, but true riches also mean having amazing friendships, a family life that feels good, and, maybe most importantly, that sense of inner peace and harmony that you just can't put a price on. So what is this huge, revolutionary idea at the very heart of the book? It's actually incredibly simple, but trust me, it changes everything. Here it is. Hill's central argument is that your thoughts aren't just little electrical sparks in your brain. They are real, tangible, powerful forces. But, and this is a huge but, they only become powerful when you mix them with three very specific things: a definite purpose, bulldog-like persistence, and a burning desire. To really drive this home, Hill tells this amazing story about a guy named Edwin C. Barnes. Now, Barnes had this one, all-consuming goal that sounded completely crazy at the time. He wanted to go into business with the one and only Thomas Edison. Here's the kicker. Barnes had no money. He didn't know Edison. He didn't even have a ticket for the train to get to him. By every normal measure, he had absolutely nothing going for him. Except he had one thing. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he was determined to get it. That thought was his only capital. And this is what's so incredible. He literally thought himself into a partnership with Thomas Edison. Through pure grit, and by holding that one thought in his mind, he turned an intangible idea into a physical reality. It's the perfect example of the book's main point. Okay, so if our thoughts are really that powerful, how do we actually put them to work? Barnes showed us the what. Now, let's look at the how. This is the actual mental blueprint. After studying more than 500 of the most successful people in the world, Hill didn't just come up with a vague idea. He laid out 13 clear, specific principles. Think of it as a step-by-step recipe for developing what he called success consciousness. Now, the whole system really stands on the foundation of the first three steps. Everything starts with desire, and we're not talking a vague wish, but a crystal clear goal. Then you have to back that up with unwavering faith that you can actually achieve it. And finally, you use auto-suggestion, which is basically programming your subconscious mind to make it happen. And let's be super clear about that first step. When Hill says desire, he doesn't mean, oh, I'd kind of like to have more money. No. He calls it a white heat of desire. It has to be a definite, all-consuming obsession that you think about day and night. That is the non-negotiable starting line. All right, so you've got that burning desire locked in. What's next? You need a plan. And to build that plan, you have to enter what Hill calls the workshop of your mind. Your imagination. That is the workshop. It's the faculty inside your head where you take that formless desire and you start to hammer it into shape, giving it form and creating a real plan of action. Now, Hill says we have two kinds of imagination. First, there's synthetic imagination. That's when you take old ideas and rearrange them into new combinations. But then, there's the creative imagination. This is where the magic happens. This is where you get those flashes of insight, those hunches that seem to come out of absolutely nowhere. The ideas that come out of this mental workshop, they then have to be organized into a definite practical plan. This is the crucial bridge that connects the world inside your head to the results you see in the real world. So after going through all these principles, all these stories, if you walk away with just one thing, what should it be? What's the ultimate takeaway here? It really boils down to this one, single, incredibly powerful mantra. Whatever the mind can conceive, meaning whatever you could imagine, and believe, it can achieve. It's as simple and as profound as that. So here's the bottom line. Success is a mental game first.
The physical game comes second. Your outer world, your health, your bank account, your relationships, it is all just a mirror reflecting your inner world of thought. You have to win the game in your head first. There's actually a poem in the book that just sums this up perfectly. It says, "Life's battles don't always go to the strongest or the fastest, but sooner or later, the person who wins is the person who thinks they can."
And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Forget about the obstacles for just a second. Forget about how you do it. Just ask yourself this. What amazing thing could you achieve if you truly, deeply, and unconditionally believed that you could?